Oh, good evening, everybody. Time to do some programming again. So what we're going to build tonight is a JavaScript application with React.js and I figured we could add some CSS Grid to that. And I already got something prepared here on my browser featuring, having like a glitch. And I've been using, they have they call it starter project. And I'm using that to, build my app in here. So I don't have to install any tooling on my computer. So I didn't change anything yet, just want to check if everything's up and running and working. And so far it looks good. I think what they're using here is mostly the template from Create React App, which is pretty cool and what I've been using in the past also on my local machine. And it's time to get started. What we're building tonight is a small tool that's called ABC List that helps, or is supposed to help with learning new things, such as like programming or sales, in my case, or languages, whatever you're currently learning. And if you want to know more about that, it's based on, this concept is based on the work from she's a speaker, used to be a speaker, a German woman called Vera Birkenbiel, and this is something, this is an approach. It's part of her language learning framework that helps to, I'm not sure if it's even specific to language learning, but it helps to learn a new field quickly. There's, I think, there's a lot of content out there explaining how these lists are working. So that's what we're gonna do tonight, building a JavaScript application that's running in the browser that's basically implementing this concept here. So what we're gonna do is build, within this application, build a long list with all the letters in the alphabet and allowing the user to put in text for each of these letters and then possibly save it, and also have at least a button in there to refresh and start from scratch. So like what I just saw here, that there's a few rules to that. Maybe I think once the core app is running, we can attend to those as well. But for now, just get started with the basic framework, I guess, to build this, or like to have a basic app running and then can focus on adding additional rules to this. So I already have this app here, like this React app running here. As you can see in the preview here, like they have I'm not sure if they're using CSS to animate this, but they have some boilerplate in here that shows us that everything's there and works. And what I'll do is, before we get started with the actual programming, I'll close this for now and get rid of some of the cruft in here, like the boilerplate. They have this weed, for instance, here. Also the script for that button. And interestingly, with React.js, this index file is usually where we put in all our HTML code. Like here, we'll leave it as this with the no script tag, that like in case somebody doesn't have JavaScript turned on, they only see this message. and this div here as the entry point for our JavaScript application. And that's all that's all to this file, all we need in here. I think the rest is okay to leave as is. I think this here is mostly for Android. I think if you install this to your home screen, I think. Manifest, yeah, it's on a mobile device or desktop when it's getting installed. So not really relevant for us, but what I'm missing is the JavaScript included. I have a few that I might have accidentally. No. Right. Still running though. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do is I will put this in a new window. Makes it a bit easier to debug. There. Let's see. Okay, there's no errors. Perfect. Just gonna right. So let's see. Close this. Okay. So we don't need this SVG logo. Delete. Yep. App CSS. We don't need all these styles to have predefined. Getting rid of those, as well as all the stuff in here. And it's gone. Import next CSS. Yes, that's okay for now. Index. So this is the main entry point for React. So here we load our main app shell that's hosting our actual code, as well as the index CSS that's supposed to define overall styles for the entire website. What we can see here is resetting margins and paddings, defines a font family. I don't know what these two are, like why they're here. Font smoothing, I don't know why we need that. And some predefined fonts for code tags, which I guess is okay. So let's see. We got the index.js. So this is loading app, and here it gets defined that it's moving that into the, like mounting this in the root, like the div with the root ID. I think it had a element by ID root. Service worker is not interesting for us right now, but could be interesting for offline usage later on. For a core app, that's uninteresting. So package.json looks good. Watch.json I think is for reloading. That's also good. Env, yeah, I think that's fine too. Cool. Then let's get started. So we have our main app here, which just test if everything's still working after having it removed. Add some code here. C list. And there we are. Perfect. Cool. So adding a file, and we're adding a JS. Oops, this is it's supposed to be here. rename. I'm gonna move this. I have to delete this and this. Do it inside a folder, include / file name. Okay. So it's the folder src. src. Perfect. So first of all, with every React component, we have to declare React has to be capital one. So React is leveraging the JavaScript class keywords or the class construct a lot. So it looks like this class and it inherits from React component. That's a base class from React. It brings in, I think, a lot of the React hooks and like standard mechanisms we need for mounting and rendering, etc. And here we are. Okay, perfect. And the other thing here is, so this component can be loaded from other files. You have to export it, and it's the only thing we export its export default. Yeah, so then we need a constructor calling the base constructor, and then let's see, we need a render. The render is default for its default method for React. It always has to be there. All the code we put in here is then rendered on the screen. It returns something, and you might have seen before, the render return has these HTML tags in here, and we will be returning a letter, and for now just put a, and it always has to be in parentheses. That's part of the syntax. And here, okay, nothing changed because we haven't included that yet. I'm gonna do that here in app.js. And we will put this in app.js. Okay, let's see what happens. I exceeded the memory limit. Seems that something is off here. Oops. Module not found, can't resolve app.js in yes, I have been putting the wrong file. It's letter.js, not app.js. Let's see. Somebody just mounted fireworks outside. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Here we go again. Turns out, just saw here, got a warning that I'm using a constructor that doesn't do anything, which I think is okay. Let's see. I'm going to put this for now. Don't need it anyways. Okay. So what we see here is there's a headline, there's a letter, and this A letter is generated by this component. And now what we could do is generate this 26 times, and then we have 26 A's, but instead I'd like to have this a bit more generic, I guess. And what we're going to do for that is add another render method, and it's called render see if this still works. Okay, this still works. And then so since we have this component now, what we could do is we could put this in a, suppose we could put this in a for loop. Let I 0 less than 26 and puts into a list, and we could do the following items push and this there. Let's see. So the warning we see here is each child in the list should have a unique key property, means that whenever we have a list of components, which this here is, so this is a React component, in order for React to properly identify, like effectively render each component in this list, it should have a unique key, and for now what we're going to do is we'll just use the index of that loop as a key, and I think that, yeah, that's already getting rid of the error, which is good. So now we have 26 A's, and what I'd like to do now is putting the actual character in there, and so I'm curious if this will work. First of all, what we're going to do is pass this in here as a so this is passing data into the React components. And what we can do on the other side, on the receiving end, is look at this, not just character, right? Character, yes. Letter, and character is this types. So the syntax here is creating a variable from a character, and it's assigning the value from the variable that's stored in here. And this props, it's another object, and it's basically extracting that variable here, and we have it const because we don't have to change the value of this. But here, instead of a, we'll render whatever we find in character. So let's see. Okay, we still have a's, and that's okay because here we have the character a and we don't change this, we don't do anything. I'm curious about this, if this plus operator actually works on it, and it turns out it doesn't. That's unfortunate. Where's method increment letters? Let's see. Oops, it's a bit too large. Turn string from char code. So let's see if this actually works out. So just copy pasted that code, but what this is supposed to do is count up to the next character, which first it's A, then it's B, C, etc. and so forth. And curious if that works. It turns out yes, it does. Up until Z, perfect. So what this is doing is on current character, it invokes the char code at method with the index and adds +1. The char code is, I suppose it's ASCII. I have to look this up, but this is, so there's a, let's see if we can get this in a bigger picture here. So there's like each character that can be rendered on the screen has a numerical value behind it. I'm not sure if this table, no, it's only showing a binary, I think. And if you increment that numerical value, then you get the next character in line. And ASCII is one of the oldest char sets. And there's UTF-8, 16, etc. as well today. Well, like here it's 7-bit, I think that's what it's based on. And here you can see in decimal, the alphabet starts, this is non-printable characters, and the alphabet is starting here, like 65. And then we just keep incrementing this integer and tell it, give me the, convert this integer into a character, and then we get the appropriate character, which is B, C, D, etc. And the same works for the lowercase alphabet as well. So with these already working, I think what I'd like to do next before we add more features is adding a few styles, because this here doesn't look very nice yet. Just DevTools for now. So let's see. first of all, so we see here we have an app class, and what I'd like to do is app margin 15 pixel. Okay, so it's not close to the border anymore. That's perfect. Next, I suppose that's already okay. Like the thing that was annoying me is that this was too close to the edge here. Okay. Okay. Next thing I'd like to do is enable the user to specify or add a term next to this, next to A, and for that we'll modify the letter component and this. So the thing about React is when we return HTML, it always has to be, or we can only return HTML with a single root element, which means in this case there's a div. Before there was just the h1. Something like this here, and do this, and do, let's say, another h1. And this would be illegal because these would be considered two root elements, and that doesn't work. Instead, what we would have to do is mark these in a div like this, for instance, and then that would work out. We don't want to do an h1 here. What we like to do is text. That's what we want to do. Okay, that's rendering, but it's rendering next. Oh, it should be next to the letter and not below it. So. So the thing about React is I have to write class name here, even though is this letter. Since class is a reserved keyword in this syntax here, it has to be class name. When I started doing React a few years ago, this was like one of the most confusing things to me. Like, why is my code not working? Why doesn't it look nice? Turns out I'm using the wrong thing here. Well, like I'm supposed to do class name. Yeah, so that's the thing. So we're adding a class letter, and I'm just gonna define it in here. Or maybe no, you know what? We'll do a new file. That's C letter CSS letter, and here we think it might be a good starting point to introduce CSS Grid. Disclaimer: I'm still pretty new to CSS Grid, so I have to look up a lot of the stuff. CSS Grid, CSS Tricks. This is what I'm using right now to enlighten myself about the topic. And I think we might be able. What did I use the other day? No, I think it was like one of the examples above here. Most powerful. I think this here is what should help immediately. And we'll do a grid cap between this one. Okay, done. Didn't do anything because I forgot something. That is this has to be relative. Let's see what happens. I'll check real quick here while we're waiting for it to load. Okay. Yeah, no, I think I'm using too much memory again, huh? Okay, there we go. Perfect. So what we see is the text input is shown next to the letter now, which is good, but it doesn't look as nice yet. I'm also going to move this over here and turn on the responsive view, because I'd like to have this working on a mobile phone as well properly. The thing I'm curious about is right now, why is this not showing properly? So I think what we see here is that, let me turn this up here, that H1 is taking up too much space. So I guess what we want to try out now is change this directly. That helps. Not really, huh? Should box start font size. But this is all interesting. This is all standard styling, so this is nothing custom. Maybe here that's the problem. Because columns are 200 pixels pixel white, and I think that's the width is the problem. It's taking up too much space, and I think instead of auto-generating them, I think what I'm going to do is do it like this here, and the first one doesn't have like 2 line 50 pixels, the other one's auto. Let's see what. Oh, it's pretty cool actually. Okay. So what I've done is, because this one here doesn't, it's a single letter, so it doesn't take up too much space anyways. Have that column pretty small, and then yeah, like have the text box taking up, or the input field take up most of the space, or the remaining space, that is. Now these are still too high, too high. So what I'd like to do as well is let's just do let's see. H1 starts 2 p.m. lock that in, and have the smaller by order. Let's see if that helps. How about that? Okay, that's better. It doesn't give me the scroll bar anymore, but still it's a bit too wide actually. So what happens when I decrease this here? Doesn't have an effect. Doesn't either. Yeah, this does. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so currently width is not much of an issue, but it has to have some margin on the outside. Just 1 pixel, probably more. Let's see. Input text. Margin left. So one interesting, when I do increase the margin too much, then it's driving it out of the window. So I think what I'm going to do instead is this smaller and reduce this to 40 pixel. Let's do 3 here. And rest need to have some more space. That looks fine actually. Interesting. Okay, maybe it's just a Chrome developer view that's okay. But it's still too high and it doesn't look nice. So what I'm gonna do is margin up, margin bottom. Already is enough. Pixel. Okay, it's better. And still hide auto is not doing anything. Just as a block element. Perfect. Okay, so this block is superfluous. This here has to be at least 5. Okay. Better. Now the positioning of the input. Change the fields on top. Auto. Auto. Yep, that did the trick. Perfect. So now we have it perfectly centered. And now with horizontal scroll bars. And it looks okay at least. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Maybe last thing before we get back to JavaScript is let's see, this is border entirely. I'm going to try this on bottom. Have it as a blank line as an indicator to fill in text, and I think that gets pixels set it back. Perfect. That looks nice. That looks good. That looks good. And the other thing that you while we're at it, page 1. Even better. Even better. Okay. So we could type stuff in. Script. So I think what would be nice is to, I guess, save it. And then also, yeah, like retrieve it again and maybe print it even. So it looks on a bigger screen. Looks so good. So the basic functionality is there, more or less, with not too much code, which is good. And let's see what they say about the rules. Maybe we can find some more here to add more features. You don't have to start at the top and go down all the way. In fact, this is counterproductive where some solution pops up. But gotta move on by moving up and down all the time. If unconscious knowledge is used, this knowledge is is not a shot you are not aware of. B. Repeat the process of moving up and down several times. So you're going to set a timer, 3 minutes maximum. I think that might be another nice thing to add, adding a timer, so that, yeah, I think that's another nice feature too. When I open the site, that this, reload this, that it doesn't immediately give me this. I have to click a button, start a timer, and then I get my list here. And once the timer is up, then it freezes the text input. Yeah, let's do that. So we have the letter component that's rendering our H1 and the input field. We have some styling here, we don't touch that one. But in here, we'll have to make the decision what state we're in right now. That means what we're gonna do is make another method and here we'll return div screen, and then in here what we're gonna do is this So that's one thing. I'm gonna let's do that comment body. So instead of calling our renderer alphabet list, we'll call welcome screen, and then we get this. Perfect. The thing I don't like is right now that this is the same font size as the main heading. So what we're going to do is here, because yeah, that's better. That's better. So okay. I think we also have to add some styling to that, and there's welcome screen. This here. Is text looks nice. Small screen and a big screen. I think we're going to add some more colors and all that later on, like for the button, but for now that looks okay. Yeah, so next thing on the list then is do something when the user clicks the button. And what I'm going to do is we're going to put up here, I'm going to click. And for now, so we have a bunch of things to do. For now, what we're going to do is we return this. So we have an event handler, like a piece of code we can call on a button click. And what we want to do now is put it in here, so the button click. That was in a while. And oops, this it. And button click. There's another thing we have to do, which is something specific to the a constructor that gets props passed down, or it gets passed over, and we pass them to the main constructor because we don't need the props here. We don't need props here right now. What we have to do is we assign this handle button click equals this. Just like this, I think, to make sure that when I'm using this, instead of this method here, that it's properly assigned one, like that it has a right value when I'm using it down here. Yeah, I think that there was a syntax for that. See any on the page? See any errors here? So it's not happening yet. I think this one's not perfect. We can click. Let's see. Aha, one click. Yeah. So typo. Expected one click functions have a an object type. Ooh, oh, I messed up big time apparently. Oh, because there's parenthesis. Okay. Still not doing anything. That's strange. Okay, so we can go to constructor. That's for sure. No, but stop complain. Oh, I see. Okay. So I was expecting to see the letter list when I click the button. Right now we don't see anything happening, and so I should check this. Like, this is already loaded properly. I'll check this by having the debug statement here. Yeah. So event handler is getting called, which is good. But we're doing the wrong thing here. So we're returning, so we're calling alphabet list, which is rendering the alphabet list and returning whatever this is returning. The thing is, we're not, like whatever like this returns is discarded because it's the click handler is not doing anything with the return value of this event handler here. So instead, what we'll have to do is use a thing here. We need to put here again, and super props, and we'll have to some state. And React has a state property, or like each component has a state property. And here, this only holds an object, and whatever is in the object is up to us to define. And what we want to call it is like show list, and the default value is false. And here, instead of calling render alphabet list immediately, what we're going to do is we'll set a new state, and how that works is we have to call state and pass in what we can change. And in this case, it's a object puts true. And the important thing here is we might have more properties in this object here, but set state only needs us to pass in whatever is actually changing, and it's clever enough to figure out like to merge these two states, like the previous one plus the new one. So we say, when I click the button, we set the state to show list, and then what's going to happen is down here is where we actually have to make the decision what we're going to show. Now is we're going to get the show list state, and here we set the ternary operator we're showing the list, and oops, the alphabet list. Otherwise, we'll do the welcome screen. Let's see. And there we go. Perfect. That works. That worked out well. And next thing is, because we're not just switching views, we're also changing how yeah, and we also have to enable a timer. That is, I think, something I have to look up how to do. Timer. How to build a content timer with React. Let's see. Start button. Okay, let's just set up here. Timer inputs. So what I'm interested in to see is what kind of mechanism they use to like count down. Where yeah, like rendering the countdown I think is not a big deal, but I think what I want to find out is they have okay, makes sense. This is the syntax I was looking for earlier. Yeah, this undo change equals, yeah. But how are they doing? Are they using set timeout? Or what? Oof, okay. It all looks rather complicated, I guess. Or maybe not complicated, but like I was hoping for something. Though maybe this might be. You know what? Let's try this one. So I guess the interesting thing now is because I'm just this. Okay, because I'm using this here. I don't know. Dependencies. version is it? So I suppose we can package edit. Oh, that's handy. So it looks like Glitch has some built-in mechanism for this, which is good. Let's see. It's still working here, but the one thing is while that's still installing, I think we can go ahead and figure out how to edit here. So what I'm going to do is I will just copy paste this in here real quick, just to see if this is actually a work. Shoot. Pressed the wrong key on my keyboard. Okay. Format. I think I forgot to import this. Yeah, this is the thing I was looking for. So let's see. Cool. So it turns out it wasn't that difficult after all. But now this is counting. Is this seconds, milliseconds? I don't know. Let's see. Let's start from the beginning. Spelling times is painful. Forward count. Controls. No autoplay. So we don't definitely know the days for those. I think. Okay, so these are milliseconds. So times 3 times 60, which give me 3 minutes. Okay, that's good. Okay, so the timer is counting and all that. It's perfect, but it's like it's working, but it's only to supposed to actually do something once we have. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, like once we click the button. So this down here is place for this. So I suppose in the show list when we run the alphabet list, and also when we start the timer. So I guess we could collecting that. Since we're returning the list directly to name this timer format, and let's see if that works. Yep, that works actually. Cool. And now we have a timer. That's good. So now what I'm curious about is is this doing anything? Oh, it's just showing seconds, I see. Okay. Yes, that's neat. Absolutely necessary, but nice to have. Yeah, no, still cool. So what I'd like to do now is, I've seen something about hooks, and I haven't used React hooks at all. But basically what I'd like to do is React, like once it comes up, freeze everything, so the user can still look at it, but it's, hello. That they're not supposed to put in any, I'm not supposed to edit anything anymore. Just, okay. So I'm going to do this, test it. I don't want to wait so long. Meh. I was hoping for this message to show up here on stop hook. I suppose to use a checkpoint, not a hook. Autoplay, but hooks, you know, probably. If you need to call some function at a certain time, provide checkpoints property. I see. Okay, then see the wrong tool for the job. It seems. So to do it, checkpoints. It's here. Start and okay. And so how to do it? They passed in an object, the time and the callback. So what I'm going to do is, so format the file, perfect. One is 0. Let's see what happens. Perfect. There we go. 3 times 6 should be back to minutes. Okay, perfect. So callbacks. Log. Having the anonymous function. perfect. So I guess what we're gonna do is we will this state. I think that should work. And the interesting thing with React is like whenever we call set state with a new state, then this is causing a render. So this down here gets called, and which means alphabet list is getting called again, and we can space here. So there's two things. Okay, time up. Set this here initially. And then state. Okay, so we have that, and then what we're going to do is we will pass this in here. Time up. And then in that component, we will make a decision if we have to disable text import, yes or no. And I think we might be test this real quick. I think this read only. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, I think something like that. Or set that property read only equals true, then the user can't do anything. So what we're going to do here is, so next to character we also get time up from props. We'll just pass that. Let's see. So type. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a bit and just back to 3 seconds. So I can see the look at it, and it's frozen. Perfect. So 3 minutes. Edit as usual. Yeah, and then just wait for the timer to be up, and then it's read only. So this is pretty cool. And I think that's going to be the last thing for tonight. And then I'm going to do another stream the next few days to add persistence to this. And what we're going to do is we will add a new component, source, main.js. Always capital system component render effect return a diff this name, because this will be class this name. So what will happen is what we want to do with this one is import text, and this one here will be our list name. It will be shown on top, so that when we look at it, we know immediately what this is about. And I think we'll have it shown here already so that we can put in the list name before the timer starts. I think that's a fair thing to do, a sensible thing to do. Let's see, another welcome screen. Just here. Pull it real quick. Import. JS. So something else I'm usually doing, it's my personal taste, but I think I've also seen that with other developers is when they import stuff, they import vendor code first, like React or this component I just installed, and then they import their own code. And JavaScript files first, and then CSS file last. So, okay, include it, and then, okay, it's shown, but we have to style this a bit because it doesn't look very nice yet. Let's see, you want to add a new style sheet, so C, name of the CSS, and we see this name, let's have this name, send, and this is import type text. Oh, I have to include that style sheet first before we can use it. Import. Let's see. Okay, so the text box is showing properly, and I think we're going to do the same thing as before with the cover, reset, disable it, and then other and so that the user knows what they're supposed to fill in there. What we're going to do is call this edit page. This name. Perfect. So, so okay, it works. Here, I mean, we're not doing anything with the values, so we don't have to add any handlers to like react on or like do something on text change. So that's fine for now. Maybe. Yeah, it looks better. It's still on a bigger screen. This looks I'm not happy with this up here yet. Let's see. I have to do 100%. Yeah, most likely. I guess that's okay. Also have to do this margin top pixel and margin as well to squished. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's nice. So, and that concludes tonight's stream. As I mentioned, I will go live again in the next few days and then add a few more features to this, such as I guess like a save button and a load button so that we can save this in local storage in the browser and then retrieve it again. So that, yeah, like whatever I put in here, like I can look this up again and then we can add some more logic to that. and so it's not just like typical hit reload and then my progress is gone. So yeah, thank you all for joining, and see you in the next few days. And by the way, before I forget, next streaming date will be on my blog. It's renewanescence.com, and here there is the calendar that will show you the next day and time for streaming. So yeah, hope you all have a nice night. It's night time for me, and then see you soon.